Great. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay, good. Wait, just myself a little bit. And that. And then if you find the ground, shifting the weight down. And rolling front and back. Very good. Shift inside the side. And take it into rotation. Very good. And take it into a wave through the spine. Yeah, and just taking a little bit of time, just mobilizing freely, mixing the directions a little bit. Just let them shift freely from one to the other. Very good. Reaching up to the top. Take a nasty breath in. And then hinging down. Breathe nice and deeply out. And coming all the way up. And following the breath. Yeah, and just one last time. And curving up, and we'll do a spinal release, just a couple reaching out to the sides. And up the hand, zip. Through the center line, release piece by piece. Release the arms, the face and the neck, and just release that a little bit to the ground. And nice and slowly slowing up. And just releasing to the side. Releasing down nice and slowly. And that a little bit to the ground. Yeah. And so again, just dropping at the knees, down, flexing the spine up. And to make it a little bit more flexible, rolling through the spine. If you feel any part a little bit stiffer than the other, just going to roll through a little bit more. Good. Very good. Get rid of things there. Open up the neck and into the chest. And then looking left and right. And it's a shoulder. And circling at the front. And extend out through the shin. And just mobilizing through any direction. Good. And just kicking into the shoulders, open at the chest, shoulder blades. Keep the elbows, fingers, hands loose. And changing direction. And then taking the hands out, to make a fist in both hands. And just think about nice tight circles. As small as you can. And a strong fist. Circle a little bit one way. Change direction. Press the palms out, spread them away from each other, and just think about gently pulling the fingers back towards the ears. Take a couple of breaths. And think about rolling through the shoulder and the arm. And then taking the palm up, palm side up, rotating towards one hand. I think of the movement kind of passing from one hand down the shoulder to the other. Rolling through the elbows, keeping the arms a little bit to the side. The hands are kind of wiping the face. And going the other way. And just playing with alternating a little bit with a looser arm. And change direction. And rolling the wrists. Quite a loose fist. And change direction. And then just open the front out, spreading the fingers. Push out a little bit on the ground. And then think about taking it to a rotation, pressing out to the back. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Come back to the center. Press out to the other side. Spend a couple of seconds on each side. Come back. Rotate to the other. Pressure all the time out with the palm. Down with the fingers. And then similar, just think of you as you go into the center, you're going to let the arms raise, and then as you go into the rotation, think of the arms dropping. And in this case, you're going to be palm side up. And that's sometimes feeling, but really now bringing attention to the down side of the movement. You raise it to the center. Drop into here. If you feel any kind of tension in the knee here, anything kind of going, badly just open the foot out, just allow it to open. Raise up, Okay. Let's just notice the breath as you do it. Good. And then just coming back to this, making a little bit more down, just do the rotation. A little bit of feeling out to the elbow. You do it. Keep your knees really soft. And then let the arm extend out through to the fist. Think about spreading now the fist, the outstretched arm with the opposite side elbow. And then a bit of a draw through the body as you rotate to the back. So. Good. Now just come back to center. Open up the sides, reaching up nice and tall. Lengthen it up and over. And drawing back. And take it to the other side. Coming back. And just one more on each side. That's one. And coming back. Great. And sticking to the hips. Nice big circles. Trying to feel the move kind of passing from hip to hip. If you feel any areas kind of stuck a little bit, just kind of run back over it a little bit. One way. And then change direction. Bringing the feet together and changing your knees. And just take it a little bit lower. Keep the knees together, just add a little bit of a bounce, very subtle, nothing strenuous. Settle into it. And then lengthen back, do the same thing. Just a light push back. And then down, spreading into the way. And lengthening back, drawing the toes up, pulling them towards the face. And then coming down, lengthening, spreading the knees down. Keep the back as long as you can. And then coming back, pulling the toes up, a bit of a pressure back into the knee. And let the toes find the ground, and circle them out. Change direction. Great, and just letting the weight settle to one side, without the ankle. And the other way. Slippery off the floor. And change direction. Pulling the knee to the chest. And so you're lengthening out to the front of the foot. Drawing it back. Press the knee out to the side a little bit, drawn towards the body again. And then again, let it lengthen away. And then last one, taking the back, just take the ankle, press the heel to the butt, and squeeze the knees together a little bit. And then again, just let the foot lengthen out to the back, let the body adjust. You reach out. And bring it back, and just loosen out the hip and the foot. Press the heel down, reach the toes, and lengthening down. And release it. Press the weight into that leg. Roll that the other side. Change direction. Slipping off the ground. And change. Good. And pulling the knee to the chest. Lengthening out. Look to the side, pulling in. Lengthening away. And drawing to the back. Sticking the heel to the foot a little bit. Squeeze the legs together a little bit. And then lengthen away. The body just incline forward, upward. Make it a bit more comfortable. Bring it back, shake out the hip of the foot. And we can do that. Press the heel down, reach the toes. Very good. And just spread the hips out wide, the feet out wide. Loosen it down to the hip and just rock through them a little bit. Maybe a little bit side to side first. Good. And then think of a figure of 8 pattern. One way, like a loop, track through the hip. Let the shoulders kind of release with it as well. Loosen them out. And just play with the position of the hands. If you can have them in the knees come a little bit higher. Or you can have them in the ground a little bit lower. Just play with it. Wherever it feels. Get into the hip a bit more. And just play with reversing the track of the figure of 8. Take it the opposite way. Bring the body back up, just settle into the legs, press the hands into the top of the knee, and just think about lengthening through the spine, so pulling the head up a little bit, pressure down into the feet. And just take one side, press the back foot into the ground, but lengthening through the back. Feeling like you're trying to pull the back leg towards the front a little bit. Release it, come back to the center and then switch to the side. Again, find the length in the leg and then just think about a little bit like dragging the foot forward towards the front. Release it, and then again, just go to the other side again. Find the wrist at the top and just think about lengthening the arm, a little bit away from the back leg. Think about reaching up with the fingertips and also a little bit sinking down into that heel. Just take a couple of deep breaths. Release it. Switch the side. And taking the opposite hand. Reach up. Once you find a comfortable shape, just think about lengthening a little bit through the fingertips and lengthening down. And then release it. And we'll just do a little bit for the wrist. Bring the fingers together. Yeah. And change direction. And a little bit of pressure down. The fingers. And change. Taking the thumb onto the back of the hand, between the third and the third finger. Take the palm and then just rotating the thumb away from the body, dropping the elbows, and release the shoulder, and just pulse into a little bit of a strong grip. Flexing the wrist. And then keep the contact with the hands, switch them over, find the grip, drop it towards the body, towards the center, relax the shoulders, and just pulse it a little bit. And then just placing the thumb in the center of the palm here, and then you're going to turn the palm inside the grip, and then into kind of Sankyo variation. Yeah, and with this one, just play with a circle with the hand. And you can just feel that you can release the shoulder as much as you can here. And then release it. Switch the hand so you press the thumb into the palm, turn everything inside, and then take it to the side. And then just over circle pattern with the arm. Reach for the elbow and the fingers. Take the fingers, roll them over, point the fingers towards your center. Add a little bit of pressure, a little bit of weight down the palm. And again, just think about softening the shoulder as much as you can in this position. Slowly release it. Take the other side. A little bit of pressure down in the palm. Release the shoulder as much as you can. Nice and slowly release it. And then just spreading the fingertips out. A few nice and slow, just opening, spreading them away. And then just a few a little bit faster. And then making fists. And again, just a few nice and slow. Really closing tightly. Opening. And then a few a little bit faster. And just wiggling the fingers out. Find a shoulder stance, and just take it to a dropping weight down when you find the center line. And then just let the weight even both sides. Shoulders releasing. And the feet really receiving the hip. And then it's just putting a little bit more attention in the down movement. It's as if you've got like a heavy medicine ball or basketball. Think about really like a slam down. So there's more feeling now that the core engages down into the feet. And just allow the body to kind of receive again into the ground. So just play with the raise up, and then really the focus is on pressing down and just letting the body kind of settle. A couple of seconds. Raise up, release down. Raise up, release down, and try and get the whole weight of the body basically in the ground through the movement. 7. Good. Well. And then the last one we do here, just think about the hands being together, gently kind of pressing them together. Think about like a kind of wood chopping movement now. So you've got this position. Now think about really the kind of line of the elbow to the hand, and then as you draw down, just into this position. So less of a focus now on the kind of slamming aspect or the dropping aspect, and much more now focus on the raise up, and really looking for the kind of natural tensioning which happens at the arm towards the back. So the focus again, they're always kind of draining down, but just with a little bit of an added focus now. And it just allows us to kind of find a line and follow it with the hands. So feel that the center line of the body, the spine, and the hands, the tip of the fingers, tips of the fingers, are just following one line. Just a few nice kind of controlled raise. Basically slow and steady. Great. And then just the last few, just think about a kind of wood chopping movement. Think about that raise up in the same way, and then just think about again just dropping it. And again, really try and feel that you're tracking a line down. Notice now that tendencies to kind of maybe go to one side. Just allow the hands to be even and drop in. Drop in. Drop in. Drop in. And again, just give yourself a little bit of time at the end of each chop, just to feel the body, feel the weight. Yeah, this is one of those exercises, like if you do this for half an hour or an hour, imagine how it would kind of change the way I do the exercise. So I don't want to go like 100% in it, but I definitely want to chop wood as well. So I need to have some kind of function to the movement. But I think you're going to be there a long time with breaks maybe. Good. That's it. Very nice. Very good. And then last one, just for the hands, just press the hands in together. So clasping here. Now don't do anything with the hands. The feeling now is that the body raises and drops down. So you often see this exercise when people do this, shake out, but it's just an arm shake. It's doing really nothing. So think about that clasping together, and then think about just having a kind of raise. So the same motion you would do here, this, you can make it a bit smaller or bigger, but just get that sense you kind of raise, settle, raise, settle, and you're keeping a kind of like a kind of vacuum kind of feeling in the grip. And the main thing again in this case is really like releasing towards the ground. So I want to feel that the shoulders are as free as I can in this movement. The elbows are free, the wrists are free. And just think about raise and settle. And if you can get a feeling of a kind of vibration going through the hands without doing it, that's the kind of feeling you're looking for. And if you can sustain that, really great. Quite a tricky exercise to get.
but it's good in a way to start with this kind of, there's a kind of chopping motion, that sense of a raise and then a really kind of drop in. And then last one here, just keep that position, but think about just rolling the hips now. So you're going to kind of roll, again, keep the shoulders free. And the main thing is now that the shoulders follow the hips. So if you think about whenever we do any kind of figure of eight kind of work, where this is going towards, and just allow, again, the hands to kind of follow. They're going to track the center, but I don't want to feel that they're kind of locked to the center. I want to feel that they're kind of flexibly attached, which they are naturally, if I kind of allow it. So it's just a kind of hip roll. Let the shoulder follow. And let the hands kind of just track. And if you really exaggerate the hip movement, the hand should start to kind of travel in a figure of eight. It should be a kind of loop for the movement. And as you're doing it, just listen to what's happening in the feet. So you probably feel the balance starts to shift, or the weight starts to shift from one foot to the other. And then once you've got that feeling like the weight shifting, just notice where in the foot it's shifting to. Might be more in the toes, it might be more in the heel, might be more in the outside edges of the feet. Just notice it as you do it. And every so often, if you want, just play with changing the direction. It's a little bit weird. You can also switch the hands over. There's a kind of position for the hands, but in terms of mobilizing, you should be able to do this on both sides. And then just allow the hands to be a little bit freer. You're going to be in like fingertip thumb contact, and then just play with like that same motion, but just allow the hands like they're kind of breathing through the motion now. So that same feeling of contact. Now the risk is that the hands start to kind of do their own thing. Don't give them enough freedom that they start to kind of lead the movement now. Just again, just to let them follow. You probably feel a little bit freer in the shoulders now. So what you can do is also play with a little bit more of a roll in the shoulder, but again, because it's got a bit more freedom now, the tendency is the shoulder starts to initiate the movement. Keep the feeling all the time that the hips. Yeah. And then the last one with that, just let the hands be free. So you can play with the hands kind of in a close proximity, close distance, or you can play with them a little bit further. Or you can equally play with them kind of coming in and out of contact. But again, now the hands have really freedom. The tendency is the hands start to kind of wave around freely. So think of the core, the body, leading. And now the feet have been left out all the time. Think about the feet being able to shift. So start with kind of simple movements in this case. So it's just like a shift the foot, with the weight. And the key thing now is feel that the foot is just accommodating the hip. So as you shift, the weight of the body, the hip goes, and then the foot's just going to kind of catch the hip. So again, now the feet have freedom. The tendency is that the feet kind of initiate all the movements. Again, think about the core, moving from the core, and allowing the hip to just go. You can even, in this case, just let the hands kind of drop, and just feel again, they're just connecting in. Now they can drop to the sides, or they can start to kind of raise and roll patterns out. But again, the key is just feel that the movement is coming from the core. Just draw your attention all the time back to it. And then just really start to include kind of rotational work and also stepping work. So the kind of difference in a sense between just shifting the weight and then in a sense kind of rolling through for a step or rolling through the hips for a rotation. But then just kind of pull back to that idea that the foot's function in this case is just to catch the hip or accommodate the hip. That's what it's put. Once you've got that focus, just start to bring the handwork again back into it. If you feel you kind of lose the hand work, you can think about two things. You can think about sword work. We'll go to bokken next, but if you think about sword work, kind of having the sword in the hands and all those kind of movements that I would make with the sword. Or you can think about kind of taijutsu work when we do anti-handed work. And the other thing you think about is also striking work, as long as it doesn't kind of affect the kind of quality of the movement. So if I start to kind of go into striking, I start to pull everything out again. Pull back out of that hook. You can use the hands like a position of the sword. You can use them in a position of like a empty hand. Or you can even just think about really simple kind of functional stuff like reaching out for something, pointing at something, going to pick something up, going to push something, the really kind of basic functions of the hands. And again, as I go to all those now activities, notice that that starts to take over the quality of the movement. So constantly draw yourself back to the ground, back to the center of the body. Now just keep that feeling, grab a bokken, grab a sword. So it's the same idea, you can go straight into this basically. So just take the bokken here, this kind of position, and just feel that the first thing now is the weight of the bokken. Again, now I've got the bokken, everything becomes the kind of active part of the body. So think about, again, drawing back to the center, drawing back to the ground, and just take your time with it. If this feels at the first kind of really heavy, because we've done a lot of kind of light work here, think about just playing with the sword where it's just kind of a weight in the hands, and just allow it to kind of settle, allow the arms to settle, allow the grip to be as soft as you can, and just let it kind of drop around. It's like you're taking it for a walk. And just kind of rolling around with it. And then every so often just play with kind of bringing it back up. So coming into more of a 𝘭𝑰, more of a ready position. And as soon as I feel like that starts to take over, I just drop the arms again. And just again, go back to the feet, go back to the ground, and go back to the center of the body, being able to communicate a movement to the rest of the body. And then you just got the added feedback now of the exercise we did before, of the weight of the sword, and also a little bit more in opportunities to play with functional movements in terms of weapon. And again, once you get into it, just play with kind of stepping, play with rotation work, something that's going to kind of challenge in my ability to ground, to center. Nice. And we'll just spend a couple of minutes here before we go to cutting. Just think about different positions you can take with the sword. So now going into sense of 𝘭𝑰, your kind of basic one again is like that 𝘧𝗔𝗞𝗘𝗠𝗨𝗦, kind of just held low, head held mid. But think about that you can also go low with the sword. Find a ready position. Think that you can go high with the sword. Find a ready position. There's lots of positions you can find. Going into more like a 𝘭𝑪𝑎 position, but just explore them. You can also cross over, release the hand. Find any kind of position which feels like it would be a winning position for the sword in terms of being able to make a decisive movement. And again, notice that the kind of, again, added activity of looking for a 𝘭𝑰 starts to take over everything else. So as you're doing it, cycle between a few basic 𝘭𝑰. And again, just pull back to the ground, pull back to the center exercise we were doing. Smooth, clear, calm transition in and out. Just give yourself a few seconds in each 𝘭𝑰, just to again, just settle. And then the key thing is as you find the stillness and go to movement, again, engage from the whole body to find it. Good. Good. So we'll just work with one of those tonight. We'll just work the 𝗔𝗫𝗞𝗜𝗠𝗨𝗦. So it's the most basic one. It's the kind of one we kind of use the majority of the time. Find it, kind of fix it in terms of that. That's the 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and then think about moving around with it. So you can change 𝗔𝗫𝗞𝗏𝗏. You can choose left side and right side. It's the same 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Have the sense that the point of the sword, the throat, is kind of generally pointed towards the throat or the chest, and that would be your kind of level in terms of your natural position. And it will be adjusted obviously for a partner if you haven't. Just use it, and again, you can feel the weight of it. If at any point it feels like really uncomfortable, just drop the sword back down. And take a moment, roll the shoulders out a little bit. And refine it. And again, just moving clearly around space. And then we're just going to bring the 𝘱𝘬𝘫𝗏 in, so just find that position. You're just going to work from the right side in this case, but feel free, again, switch between the left and right, but every time now you find the 𝘱𝘬𝘫𝗏, you're going to do from the right side. So just find the back, and then cut down, and just a really kind of focused cut. If you feel really connected in this case, I just kind of continue for a few. The moment I feel like the connection's weak or I'm kind of dropping out of it, just come back out, move around a little bit. Have a kind of clear kind of focus in it as well. So if you sort of have again a door or a line or just an object you can focus on, bring all your attention to it. That's bringing in the swinging work we were doing before, the wood chopping work. And just like a really coordinated, just with a little bit of movement in between. Good. And then we'll bring in the left side by looking at Zengo. So once you've found the 𝘱𝘬𝘫𝗏𝗏 here, settling in, think about opening up to the back, cutting out. And then if you feel really connected, just stay in that position for a few cuts. You feel like you kind of drift out, just come out of it. Or use this as a kind of way to get into connection. Again, back to the center, back to the ground. Find a focus. And if you only do one cut, you kind of come out, it's fine. If you do two, it's fine. If you do more, it's also fine. But the key thing again is to think about quality of movement as you do it. Great. We'll do one that a little bit more active. So it's like what you need to do is basically find an object. In this case, I've got a little white stone circle here. I'm just going to use it as a focus. So play with the 𝗏𝗧 in this case. You can be in a really neutral position. And then all you're going to do is think about moving into 𝗏𝗧, keeping the target in mind, and then going into an attack. Now, depending on the distance you've got in the space, you might be a little bit closer. You can do a few things with this. If I've got a target, in this case, like the bell, I'm going to kind of focus on it, and I'm at a distance where I can really go for a strong attack and not worry about kind of reaching it. If I'm kind of comfortable with it, with my connection, in this case, I go like the candle holder. I'll go like here, and then I'll go actually into a strike. Yeah, and I'll be on target with it. But again, just play with it a little bit in terms of distancing. If you want to just explore really cutting down, do it at a distance. And if you want to explore a little bit more the feeling of really reaching the person or reaching the target with the attack, just take it a little bit closer. But play with also the kind of 𝗏𝗧, kind of creeping in to distance. And then going for the attack. And then just give yourself a couple of seconds after each strike, just feel where the body is. A little bit more of an active movement of the body tends to pull me out of balance, pull me off center, pull me out of the ground. But for those same qualities we did in those very first exercises. But again, have a really clear object to go towards. Keep it. Stalk the room a little bit with it, and then go to attack. Nice, great. Good. And we'll do one more. In this case, again, have a target in mind. You're going to creep it. We're going to bring the exercise in at the beginning where you look for different 𝗏𝗧. So I've got the target in mind. That's my kind of basic 𝗏𝗧, which we'd kind of use. Play also with coming into different kind of 𝗏𝗧s. For example, like this coming up to the top. Yeah, and you can either choose to attack from here or choose to go to another 𝗏𝗧. Go to another 𝗏𝗧. And then when you feel really the impulse to go for it. Yeah, and again, it doesn't have to be fast, just needs to be coordinated. And just look for those nice transitions between the 𝗏𝗧. And choose an object, move around, connect, and again, more activity. So we're just going to just draw back to the ground, draw back to the center. As much as you can now. Great. Last technique, just releasing the body out. So just find the shoulder width. Release the vodka, especially if you've got a big hole, release it. Drop the shoulders, shake them out a little bit, shake the elbows, roll the wrists a little bit and the fingers. Release the hips. Legs. And the feet, shake everything out. Raising the arms up, take a nice deep breath in. A little bit of a lean each side. Open up the body one way and the other. Coming back to the center and then add a little bit of a twist. Rotation. Back. Take it to the side. Spread the hands on the book and just open up the shoulders a little bit to the back. Just play with mobilizing gently. Let the elbows bend towards the back. Placing the book on the shoulders. And again, just mobilize a little bit the shoulder in this position. The elbows can pull back, forward. A little bit the head in this position. Release the book and back over. And then down. And again, just come back to the hips, rolling the shoulders and the hips together. And just free everything out a little bit. Roll both ways. And back into the center, just drop everything down. And just make the body still, make the movement small. Very good. Okay, we will stop right there. Very good. Right. Domo, arigato, gozaimashita.
Domo, arigato, gozaimashita.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.